sitting in the parsonage and beginning my preparation for a sermon by looking out my window. And over the last couple Sundays, all I saw was a lot of fog and mist and rain, and perhaps that led to some confusion. As I am standing before you today, I think of many things, especially being what will be my last Sunday preaching before you, and the gift of rejoicing with this beautiful, clear weather. So perhaps there's some clarity for me today. And one of those things that I didn't do this week was prepare a written sermon. One of those where I had many, many different thoughts and pieces to process, let alone a gospel reading that is very challenging. But with that challenge, I want to reflect on the things that brought me here. And one of those is the gift of life and love that God has given me, that hopefully I've been able to share with you. And in turn, that is returned. So, in those words, this idea of take life and take faith for what it is, that's the gift that you have shared with me. I think back to when I went to seminary as an adult and where this would all lead. And as I was reflecting even with Misty this morning as to what was this purpose, where is it going, knowing that this purpose continues on and what that's going to look like and be. And it's one of those where there seemed to be, being a resident of St. Paul and graduating from Luther Seminary, a very clear idea that, well, you're not going to get a job in St. Paul or Minneapolis. There's just not that many openings. And nothing against the Synod and how that process works, but it's one of those where being aware of it causes some new feeling, as it were. But then an idea had come up about where we would want to go, because one of the nice things the bishop does is ask, well, where would be your dream job? Where would that be? And I didn't say Finland right away. I told the truth, and of course, perhaps being young and loving skiing, I said, well, Vail. Vail would be the great place for me. You know, sign me up. Where do I go? Vail didn't happen. Something better happened. And that's this place right here, because of all of you. So in a weird sense, and I think I kind of maybe had mentioned that before, Baptism River popped up on this site where pastors can look and see what's open, and then it disappeared again. So we started thinking, oh, well, that'd be kind of neat. And we had only ever passed by on 61. We never took the left and came up this road. And I must say, I'm tempted by skiing. That's one of my big temptations. I just love to ski. And then knowing that Lutsen was up here, that sounded like a pretty good deal. So, about a little over 2 years ago, with the help of John and coming up here, we had a sort of, I guess, not necessarily clandestine mission, but we came and found, you know, there's Providence. The last campsite opened on a busy summer weekend, August 21st, at the Finland campground, and we kind of checked out the church. But even before we checked out the church, it was coming up this road, Highway 1, that was absolutely magnificent. And I think I said to Missy, if I ever lose the joy and wonder of coming up this road, it's time to go. And what's going to happen is when we go down that road, I know I can come back up it because of all of you. And coming up that road, it's like, this is like the mountains. I don't want to be in Vail. I want to be right here. And that's what I've had every single day here, is that wonder and beauty of being in this place because of you. Because even though I come over here in the morning and I pray, and I'm all by myself, and I still wonder, boy, if an angel or God or something actually talks back to me, I'll probably be found dead on the floor. But God speaks in a little different language, much more calm. But it's that idea of being able to share that place. So when I interviewed and spoke with that committee, another committee that's going to get going again, this idea of sharing of how much of a blessing I have received here. And it's one that is hard to put into words, And that's a reason, again, why I couldn't write that down. For me to sit here and read from something, it wouldn't be there. And truly, this place has become part of my heart, and that's what makes it so hard to leave. I don't know what lies ahead, but I'm putting that firmly in God's hands, not to tempt God by any means, because maybe I am a handful, I don't know. But it's one of those where being here has been such a wonderful occasion to have parsonage, to have this place, the garden, all the activities and people. You are so blessed to have this special place. So then you might go, well, why are you leaving? Well, I'm stubborn sometimes, I don't get it. So it's one of those where sometimes, as we've known, if you love something so dearly, let it go. And I haven't used that method, but it's that matter. I think I'm only going to come in touch with what I've had here as I continue my life, and that will be that blessing of love and what that means. So for all of you people here, for all that I've shared that with, and people I've met, the new people, this church is doing exactly what it needs to do, being the right size we need to be, having that door open to everyone, regardless. So when we have readings like Luke today, when we have this wonderful talent, and that's what we have here, we have this wonderful wealth of love to share that you can't put a price on, that you can't describe what it is, but it happens here. So if not for me, I hope you felt that specialness of coming here. Not that the other churches aren't special too. Go to those as well. But it's that matter of I've also had that wonderful ecumenical relationship with the churches here. Even the people who don't go to church. And I've seen you in the bar, okay? And that's great, because church can happen everywhere. And that is the special thing that I have seen here. So it is with thanks and gratitude that we have these words. As one of my professors at seminary always said, you got to bring the good news. And it's not so much I've learned that I'm not bringing the good news, we're sharing the good news together. And that is what makes being a pastor so special. Something that came to me later in life, something that's so near and dear, but that is because of you. If this place were empty, it wouldn't be church. And you make it church, and that's what Jesus wanted all of us to do. So any of those ideas of love and sharing, a simple smile, depending on what you see or what you hear, do a little research, and then check in with your heart, and let your heart make that decision with you. Sometimes when other people are making decisions for us, we might not like that. Sometimes we need people to make decisions for us, and that's where we need each other, to check in with each other. Whether it's a call of how you doing, or I haven't heard from you a while, that's the important thing of this. So again, with all the kind of, I'll call them strange and odd rules that the church has, and I will say, because I love transparency, as far as, I like clothes too, so there's certain things you need to keep covered. But it's one of those where, as a pastor that leaves, technically you can't come back and do any pastoring things, and I'm fine with that, but that doesn't mean I don't have the friendship. So when I see some of the young people I baptize, their families and that, other people, it's that thing, that will never leave me. That I keep up in my head, in the pictures, in my heart with how I feel, and I thank you for all of that. And I'm going to try to keep it shorter because I'd rather listen to good music and sing with you. But for that, I would like to say thank you very much. And for that, we can all say thanks be to God.